everybody, how you doing? This is Dan Blanchard with the Traveling Time with Dan show, where we mix history with leadership and with travel, and of course with me, Dan Blanchard. Today I am at the Robert Goddard's rocket launch site at the Pakachoag Golf Course here in Auburn, Massachusetts. You can probably see right there over my shoulder the sign, right? This big old place here used to be Robert Goddard's aunt's farm. And today it is a golf course. So if you don't know who Robert Goddard is, wait till you hear who he is. It's just absolutely amazing what takes place here. And there's actually two stones here. The first stone, I'm trying to show you, there's a little red building back there. And there's a little teeny, maybe like 2-3 foot granite obelisk stone there. I'm on Upland Street in Auburn, Mass. Right, it's a granite obelisk. It's about 1,000 feet into the golf course back there in the 9th fairway, right? And that's the stone for Robert Goddard and basically the father of modern rockets here in the United States. There's another one on 20 Goddard Street. Down the road here, so he's got actually two stones here. So let me tell you what exactly happened right here behind me on Robert Goddard's aunt's farm, which is now this golf course, all right? So on March 16th, 1926, Robert Goddard had like a 10-foot tall rocket that he set off here. It only flew for 2.5 seconds and 41 feet high and landed about 184 feet away in snow, similar to what we're seeing here today. Now, I know those numbers may not seem very impressive to you, but guess what? This truly was the Kitty Hawk moment of space travel here in the United States, okay? He basically proved that you no longer had to use gunpowder. All the other scientists were using gunpowder for the rockets, and he used like a gasoline, liquid oxygen, liquid fuel sort of combo here, which was brand new. And believe it or not, all these years later, Elon Musk with SpaceX is still using that technology for fuel. So it worked, right? This was huge, okay? Robert Goddard. So who is this guy? Right? Well, he's a Massachusetts, New England guy. He's a scientist. He's a dreamer. Absolutely a dreamer. Big, big dreamer, right? He's your classic New England tinkerer, right? Now, he's talking about going to Mars 100 years ago. This is like 100 years before Elon Musk. This guy's talking about going to Mars. And Robert Goddard gets labeled as Crazy Bob. That's right, he gets the Crazy Bob, and the city of Auburn, the town of Auburn here, actually run him out of town. They evict him out of town. His rockets make so much noise. I think maybe some glass windows will break in. People thought there was like some kind of airplane crash or something, right? Because his rockets were just so disturbing, all the noise, and they evicted him. And you know, the ironic, the really, really funny thing here is he actually takes himself to Roswell, New Mexico, to work on his rockets, right? How funny is that, right? The Roswell, New Mexico. So now, in the 1920s, right? I tell you, they called him Crazy Bob. The New York Times made a mockery of him. They also said that his principles were never going to work if the rocket, again, I told you, only got 41 feet high. But what if it did get all the way up to space, right? Well, they said it wouldn't work up there because there was no oxygen up there. Now, liquid fuel wouldn't work there. Well, guess what? Right? We're talking 1920s. Guess what? 1969, after Apollo 11, used the same concept, right? The U.S. government, I should say the New York Times, they had to freaking apologize to him. Right? They apologized to him. Now, speaking of the U.S. government, 1920s, the U.S. government just basically ignored him. They didn't think anything of Robert Goddard. They just basically ignored him. But you know who didn't ignore him? The German scientists. They studied him like crazy. And you know what those German scientists did in World War II, right? With the U-2 rockets and all that. They were the best in the world at the rockets, thanks to them studying Robert Goddard, the same Robert Goddard that the United States government ignored, right? And if they had maybe studied him, maybe the Germans wouldn't have gotten that upper hand. Maybe the United States after World War II wouldn't have done the Operation Paperclip, which was highly controversial, where they grabbed a whole bunch of brilliant German rocket scientists and brought them to the United States to work in the United States, right? And tried to tell the American people, oh, these weren't the bad Nazis. No, these were the good Nazis, right? They're all right. These guys did good things, blah, 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 right? But this was very controversial. And they held the United States government held back a lot of the information about the records, the history, the past of these Nazi scientists that they brought here. And if they had told the Americans the full truth, the Americans would have gone crazy. These people were actually living here, not being punished for their crimes, living here and being paid to live here, right? And it was crazy. But the United States government, maybe they should have paid attention to Robert Goddard. But I guess in the end, he kind of gets the last laugh, right? He gets 200 patents accredited. The high school here in Massachusetts, who were called the Dandies, changed their name to the Rockets, right? So the high school here in Auburn, Massachusetts now is, the Rockets, rightfully so, right? And we're coming up now on the 100th anniversary of Robert Goddard's rocket launch right here behind me over my shoulder, right? And I'm being told by the fire chief here that they're going to bus in tens of thousands of people who are going to be here next week for the 100-year anniversary. Simply amazing. Way to go, Robert Goddard. People laughed at you, but you just kept going, right? Wonderful. Way to go. Now, here, when I do my travel and time with Dan's show, I like to mix, obviously, me with travel, Massachusetts, New England, this place. There's so many cool places around here. If you have not seen this rocket site, if you can come down here for the 100th anniversary, it'll be wild, but there's going to be a lot of people here. Just remember that, right? It's definitely worth traveling down here. I've just shared a lot of great history with you guys. And of course, I always like to share leadership lessons. So what is the leadership lesson here? Well, I think Robert Goddard redefined success to sustain momentum. I mean, the concept here, right? Think about the concept here, right? A leader's job is to maintain the long view when everyone else is looking at the scoreboard, right? And Goddard definitely was looking at the long view. I mean, the application was this. Goddard didn't set off to land his rocket on the moon on that day in 1926, 100 years ago. He set off to prove that liquid fuel could work, and it did. It worked. Elon Musk is using it today for SpaceX, right? That's leadership. No doubt about it. That's leadership. Well, anyways, listen, hey, everyone, thanks for spending your time with me here at the Rocket Site with Travel and Time with Dan, where we mix travel and history and leadership. I'm going to be back real soon with another great episode. Until then, you take care. I'll see you again.